August 3, 2001, Buckhead, Atlanta. The summer heat still clings to the pavement as darkness settles over one of the city's most affluent neighborhoods. Outside a luxury apartment complex, two bodies lie motionless on the concrete. Multiple gunshot wounds to the chest and head paint a brutal scene that will haunt investigators for decades. Police sirens pierce the night air. Red and blue lights flash across horrified faces of witnesses who never expected to see such violence in their quiet community. A seasoned detective surveys the carnage and delivers a chilling assessment. This wasn't a robbery gone wrong. This was execution-style murder. Welcome to Savage Case Files, where we expose the most shocking betrayals, brutal crimes, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Today's case: a double murder that launched a 23-year international manhunt for a man who used his military training not to serve his country, but to evade justice. This is the story of Alvin Scott, a Turkish-born naturalized citizen with intelligence training who allegedly murdered his estranged wife and her companion in cold blood, then vanished without a trace. The FBI has been hunting him across 4 countries. The reward, $20,000. The question that haunts investigators: how does someone stay hidden for over 2 decades when the entire world is looking for them? Before that fatal night in Atlanta, Alvin Scott appeared to be the American dream personified. Born on September 21, 1950, though some records show September 1st, revealing the first hint that nothing about this man was straightforward, Scott emigrated from Turkey to build a new life in the United States. Standing 6 feet tall with graying hair and brown eyes, Scott carried himself with the confidence of someone who had seen the world. And he had. From 1972 to 1986, he served 14 years in the Turkish military, specializing in investigative work that would later prove invaluable in ways no one anticipated. His training included firearms expertise and martial arts, skills that transformed him from protector to predator. Scott wasn't just another immigrant success story. He spoke 3 languages fluently: English, Turkish, and Bulgarian. He worked as a journalist and claimed connections to the Turkish consulate, giving him the perfect cover for international travel and maintaining contacts across borders. But beneath this accomplished exterior, Scott's personal life was crumbling. His marriage to Lilia Ivanova had deteriorated into estrangement, and the woman he once loved was moving on with her life. For a man accustomed to control, trained in surveillance and investigation, watching his wife slip away may have triggered something dark and irreversible. The skills meant to serve his adopted country would soon be turned against it. Lilia Ivanova was trying to rebuild her life. After her marriage to Alvin Scott fell apart, she had found companionship with Eli Abisab. On that sweltering August evening, neither of them could have imagined they were living their final hours. The Buckhead apartment complex offered the illusion of safety, an upscale neighborhood where violent crime seemed impossible. As Lilia and Ellie prepared to leave the building that night, they had no reason to fear what waited outside. Scott had been watching. His military training in surveillance and investigation now served a deadly purpose. This wasn't a chance encounter or a moment of heated passion. Every detail had been planned with the methodical precision of someone who understood how to kill efficiently. As the couple stepped outside the apartment building, Scott struck. The attack was swift and merciless, multiple gunshots to both the chest and head. Witnesses would later describe the methodical nature of the assault. This wasn't random violence or a robbery attempt. The pattern of wounds, the deliberate targeting, the execution-style nature of the killings, everything pointed to premeditated murder. Within minutes, 911 calls flooded the emergency lines. First responders arrived to find a scene that would haunt them for years. 2 innocent people had been gunned down with military precision by someone who knew exactly what he was doing. By the time police secured the area and began collecting evidence, Alvin Scott had already begun his disappearing act. The Atlanta Police Department moved with unprecedented speed. Less than 24 hours after the murders, on August 4, 2001, an arrest warrant was issued for Alvin Scott. But Scott was already gone, and investigators quickly realized they weren't dealing with an ordinary suspect. When the FBI joined the case with a federal warrant for unlawful flight to avoid prosecution, the hunt became international. Scott's 14 years of Turkish military service, combined with his investigative training, had equipped him with skills that law enforcement now faced as obstacles. He knew how they would track him, how they would think, and how to stay ahead. The first confirmed sightings came from Greece. Investigators followed leads across the Mediterranean, but Scott seemed to vanish just as authorities closed in. His fluency in Bulgarian opened doors in Eastern Europe, while his Turkish heritage provided natural cover in his homeland. Each country presented new challenges for coordination between international law enforcement agencies. The FBI established a reward of up to $20,000, 0 cents, for information leading to Scott's arrest. Wanted posters appeared in American embassies and consulates worldwide. Interpol issued alerts across multiple continents. Yet every promising lead ended in frustration. Scott's background in intelligence work had taught him to blend into different cultures, to create new identities, and to move without leaving traces. Authorities suspected he possessed multiple travel documents and had established safe houses across several countries. The manhunt stretched from the bustling streets of Istanbul to remote Bulgarian villages, but Alvin Scott remained a ghost. 23 years have passed since that brutal August night in Atlanta. Alvin Scott, if still alive, would now be 74 years old. Yet his name remains on the FBI's most wanted list, a testament to law enforcement's unwavering commitment to justice for Lilia Ivanova and Eli Abisab. The passage of time has only deepened the mystery. In an era where digital footprints make disappearing nearly impossible, Scott's analog-era tradecraft continues to confound modern investigators. Security cameras blanket cities, facial recognition technology scan airports, and financial transactions leave electronic trails, yet none of these advances have brought authorities closer to their target. Theories about Scott's fate vary wildly among investigators. Some believe he died years ago, possibly by suicide given the FBI's assessment of his mental state. Others suspect he's living comfortably under a new identity, his intelligence training allowing him to build an entirely fabricated life. Remote regions of Turkey and Bulgaria remain focal points for speculation, areas where his language skills and cultural knowledge would provide natural camouflage. The families of the victims continue their painful wait for closure. Their loved ones were gunned down in cold blood, and the man responsible has evaded justice for over 2 decades. Each passing year brings new hope that someone, somewhere will recognize Scott or provide the crucial information that breaks the case wide open. The FBI's message remains clear: murder cases are never closed. Somewhere in the world, Alvin Scott is either living with his crimes or has already faced his final judgment. The search for Alvin Scott continues today. If you have any information regarding his whereabouts, contact your local FBI office immediately or reach out to the nearest American embassy or consulate. Your tip could be the breakthrough that finally brings justice to Lilia Ivanova and Eliabi Saab after more than 2 decades of waiting. What do you think happened to Alvin Scott? Is he still alive, hiding somewhere under a false identity? Or did his story end years ago in some remote corner of the world? Share your theories in the comments below. Your perspective might shed new light on one of the FBI's most enduring mysteries. This has been another case from Savage Case Files, where we expose the darkest betrayals and the relentless pursuit of justice. Subscribe now to join us as we reveal another shocking true crime case that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about human nature. Remember, justice delayed is not justice denied. Somewhere out there, the truth about Alvin Scott's fate awaits discovery. Whether he's living with the weight of his crimes or has already paid the ultimate price, the families of his victims deserve answers. The hunt continues, and it won't end until Alvin Scott is found, dead or alive.